Discover the hidden truth behind my daughter's wedding, an inspiring 300K revelation unveiled. Sarah Matthews stood in her flower shop, the sweet fragrance of roses and lilies wafting through the air as whispers of maplewood buzzed around her. Did you hear about Lily's wedding plans? It echoed in her mind, a cacophony of expectations that weighed her down like a leaden anchor. The anticipation was palpable, but so was the anxiety. A $300,000 budget for a wedding in their small town? The pressure to deliver a fairy tale experience felt suffocating. Her daughter, Lily, with visions of Pinterest perfect elegance, had seamlessly intertwined dreams with societal demands, transforming their reality into an insurmountable mountain. Each arrangement and flower stem she crafted was feeble against the ticking clock and rising costs. As Sarah meticulously calculated expenses, numbers danced angrily in her mind, saturated with despair. This wasn't just about money. It felt like her entire worth was on the line. With her thoughts spiraling, Sarah shoved the remaining arrangements into the cooler, each movement punctuated by fatigue. She paused as her gaze drifted to the attic, an old trunk lingering in her memory like a ghost. A sudden urge for clarity struck her, and she ascended the creaky wooden stairs, heart racing with the weight of her dilemma. In the cold dust of forgotten memories lay the trunk, its lock rusted but inviting. Inside she found exquisite floral arrangements crafted by her late father, a humble man whose quiet generosity had shaped her core values. A bittersweet smile tugged at her lips as she examined the delicate work, preserved artistry that could be worth a fortune. But as guilt clenched her heart, another truth swept over her. They were also a legacy, a tribute to love rather than wealth. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let us continue. As she returned to lighting clarity, the enormity of her father's legacy permeated the air. Her mind wrestled with fierce contradictory emotions. Part of her wanted to flee from this weighty decision, to sell the arrangements and deliver the sparkling day that Lily envisioned. Yet, another part yearned to honor her father's heart, to weave love into the fabric of the wedding rather than efflux of finances. With the wedding rehearsal looming, tension heightened. Lily's excitement radiated a stark contrast to Sarah's growing unease. The chasm between expectations and authenticity widened with every passing moment. During the rehearsals, Lily's radiant enthusiasm clashed with the stifling fear brewing in Sarah. What will everyone think? Can I really make this work? The night shattered around her when she finally gathered the courage to speak at the rehearsal dinner. As words struggled to break free, apprehension filled her veins. Would her plea resonate? Would they grasp the weight of legacy over extravagance? Anxiety thrummed through her, but she had no choice but to confront it head-on. With eyes wide and heart pounding, she stood at the precipice, ready to unveil the truth and with it, the heart of her family's story. The atmosphere at the rehearsal dinner was thick with anticipation, laughter and clinking glasses punctuating the air. Yet for Sarah, it felt as if a storm brewed just beneath the surface. Her heart raced, each thump against her chest echoing the disquiet swirling in her mind. She watched Lily beam at her friends and family, oblivious to the doubts that clung to Sarah's spirit like a shadow as she surveyed the room. Joy swirled with dread, reminding her that the evening was less about the wedding and more about decisions that could reshape their realities. What would it mean to confront Lily and her expectations? Was she prepared to disrupt this delightful fairy tale? Unable to shake her growing anxiety, she clasped her hands together to keep them from trembling. Now or never, she knew the moment to act was drawing close, and excuses would not pave the way to clarity. Taking a deep breath, she straightened her shoulders and moved closer to her daughter. She needed to speak her truth. Lily turned toward her, her sparkle dimming slightly as she recognized the serious look on her mother's face. "Mom, what's wrong? You look pale," she whispered, genuine concern clouding her joyful demeanor. The intent gaze of family members hung in the balance, their attention naturally drawn to the anticipated exchange. "Lily," Sarah began, her voice trembling, "there is something I need to talk to you about before we move any further with the wedding plans." Air thickened with uncertainty as she expertly positioned her audience. A mix of familial support and imminent judgment. In those moments, something profound began to stir within Sarah. All at once, she felt her father's legacy rise to the forefront of her thoughts, igniting an unexpected drive. Wedding days are often about appearances, and while I want to create a beautiful day for you, I'm realizing that beauty transcends cost. It's about love and what we carry with us from family. Lily's brow furrowed as she digested her mother's words. Mom, are you saying we can't do it? That we should scale back? No. The word burst from Sarah, fierce and unexpected, pulling everyone's eyes towards her. I'm saying we don't need this exorbitant budget to capture the essence of what this day truly means. We must honor what we hold dear, our family, our memories. We have that gift already. Words flowed more freely now, wrapped in courage rather than fear. Remember your grandfather? The meticulous arrangements he created with love? Pieces that told a story more profound than any dollar amount? I refuse to let this occasion drown in numbers and expectations. Every syllable pounded against her chest until she surrendered to the truth permeating her thoughts. This wedding wasn't just about Lily's fairy tale. It was about reconnecting with a legacy that fostered real love. But as the conviction raced through her, a sinking realization followed. What would this mean for Lily? The potential fallout loomed ominously, making her heart race at the prospect of disapproval from her daughter. The room fell silent as tension rippled across the group. Lily's eyes widened, a mix of confusion and understanding flickering across her face. Are you asking me to abandon what I've dreamed of? The unvoiced question hung heavily in the air, ripe with what was at stake. With every heartbeat echoing louder in her ears, Sarah stared down the path they could take: reverse expectations or march forward in an authentic direction. The moment simmered, a crucible of legacy and love, ready for transformation. Mom, I just wanted the perfect wedding, Lily finally whispered, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. The delicate hold on her dreams felt threatened, and Sarah sensed the internal struggle begin to uncoil in her child. Perfection isn't measured in dollars, Sarah replied, her voice steadying against the storm within her. Let us find what truly matters together. A tremor of defiance ignited, and in that simple moment, Sarah envisioned a new beginning, a celebration rooted in authenticity, an invitation for real connections. But as the weight of her words settled, uncertainty began to swirl. Would this be the path forward? Or was she merely postponing the inevitable eruption of dreams and disappointment? With the delicate balance of their relationship hanging in the air, Sarah braced for what could await them as they pieced together their aspirations in the flickering candlelight. The challenge ahead was vast, daunting, and full of possibilities, but the promise of genuine love shimmered through the unknown. They stood on the cusp of discovery, poised at a crossroads of deep vulnerability. Each step taken would carve a new path, one that would redefine their journey together. The pivotal question remained: would they embrace this new direction, even at the risk of diverging from each other's visions? Equivocation filled the air, and as the room buzzed with anticipation, guilt gnawed at Sarah's insides. The time had come to confront the real essence of their family's story, one that could unite or unravel them. The silence in the room became all-consuming as the weight of Sarah's words settled, thickening the atmosphere almost to the point of suffocation. Her heart raced, each beat pulsating with thoughts of how she had opened the floodgates of an inevitable transition. Lily's gaze searched her mother's face, questioning, grappling with the very foundation of the aspirations she had nurtured for years. Sarah felt the pang of vulnerability in her child's eyes, mingling with her own determination. The years spent cultivating a sense of familial love and authenticity that outstripped material wealth were about to clash fiercely with her daughter's ideals. Mom, can't we just have the wedding I've been dreaming of? There was a tremor in Lily's voice, an echo of disappointment that pulled at Sarah's heartstrings. The desire to preserve Lily's dreams fought against the need to instill a deeper understanding of what they meant as a family. Sweetheart, she replied, her voice softer now, yet still firm as steel. What you dream of doesn't need to be defined by money. It can be beautiful and meaningful without the extravagant price tag. In that moment of utter honesty, Sarah felt the faint flicker of resolve igniting within her, a recognition that standing firm in her conviction might not only reshape this event but also reorient their relationship. Lily's face hardened as she recoiled slightly, the implications of her mother's words gnawing at the edges of her heart. But does that mean I'm disappointing you? Or my friends? They expect a certain kind of wedding. Let me tell you a story, Sarah suggested, her mind shifting to a memory she cherished. When your grandfather and grandmother got married, they had nothing but love to offer each other. They celebrated in our tiny backyard with homemade pies and wildflowers from the garden. That day was perfect, not because of the expense, but because of the unfiltered happiness that radiated from all of us. Each word hung in the air, vibrating with the profundity of connected experiences that transcended material concerns. Moving closer, Sarah's intention sharpened. She aimed to bridge the gap between their perspectives. Those memories are the real treasures, Lily. They can't be bought. They're built on love, laughter, and family. Lily's features softened just a touch, but the flicker of defiance remained, a testament to her unresolved expectations. Was it possible to pivot the wedding vision without losing the very essence of what made it special? Yet, as Sarah reveled in the moment of vulnerability, she found herself confronting a new dilemma. What if this authenticity meant unearthing emotions not just for Lily, but for herself as well? What if the journey required her to unveil areas of fear and insecurity she had long avoided? Will we end up losing everything? Lily asked, her voice shaking. What if we can't make it beautiful? The question lingered like a ghost in the room. Sarah paused, weighing her response. Beauty doesn't always appear in the grand gestures. Sometimes, it emerges from the moments we cherish most. Together, we can make this wedding a story worth telling. As the proclamation hung in the air, Sarah recognized the pivotal moment dawning, a crossroad demanding resilience and flexibility. She felt an unshakable determination taking root, ignited by the prospect of redefining not just the wedding but their ongoing relationship. But what would be required of her to become the advocate her daughter needed? As waves of uncertainty rolled in, she sensed that the upcoming decisions would demand inner strength and clarity she hadn't fully accessed before. Would she embrace the discomfort in navigating this new territory, a place where dreams intertwine with reality? The surrounding clamor faded, and Sarah steeled herself, determined to face the shadows of doubt creeping into her resolve. Yet beneath the surface, questions swirled like a tempest. Had she held her daughter's hand too tightly for too long? Was this the moment to let go, to allow Lily to forge a new path, even if it led them both into uncharted waters? The fragile balance of love and expectation precariously hung in the balance, and as Sarah looked into her daughter's tear-streaked face, she realized the reckoning was far from over. What new truths lay ahead, ready to reshape not just the wedding but the very fabric of their relationship? A new resolve descended upon Sarah as she continued to watch Lily process the weight of their discussion. With every flicker of defensiveness in her daughter's eyes, the parallels to her own past tugged at Sarah's heart. She remembered her youthful dreams wrapped in the glamour of social expectations before her own journey began to reshape those ideals. Your friends, your guests, they may have their expectations, she said softly, choosing her words with care. But this day is for you and your partner. It should reflect the love you share, raw and unfiltered. Lily looked away, her body tense like a coiled spring. In that moment, Sarah felt the heaviness in her own chest tighten. She recognized the fear that Lily harbored. It mirrored her own internal struggles with acceptance and authenticity. How often had she sacrificed her true desires for the comfort of conformity? Now, the specter of her past loomed large, confronting her with the unexamined consequences of those choices. Maybe you can create something unique, Sarah proposed, trying to infuse optimism into the growing shadow of despair in the room. A wedding that reflects your adventure together. Something that isn't bound by tradition but rooted in your connection. What does that look like? Lily turned back, uncertainty still etched in her features. I don't know. I guess I thought having a big wedding was part of the fairy tale. It's what everyone expects. Does that fairy tale include you? Sarah interrupted gently, the challenge hanging in the air. Nobody shows you the hurdles that accompany the fairy tale they sell you, and in a singular moment, Sarah grasped that she needed to show Lily a new narrative, a narrative where dreams and reality didn't compete but conversed. Would she be willing to evolve alongside her daughter? In the silence, Sarah's heart swelled with a mix of fear and fierce determination. Voices of the past whispered warnings about the risks of challenging societal norms, but a deeper voice called her forward, urging resilience. Perhaps we need to start from scratch, Sarah suggested, emboldened by her newfound commitment to authenticity. Let us make a list not of unyielding expectations, but of things that truly make you and your partner who you are. What do you love? What represents your story? Lily's expression softened as she began to ponder, the wheels of her mind turning. Sarah watched as the defiance eased and curiosity crept in, the flame of creativity beginning to flicker. Maybe that could work, Lily mused, biting her lip as the first blush of excitement registered. But what if we disappoint everyone? Feels like we'd be risking so much. Sarah's fingers brushed against the rough wood of the table, grounding her in the moment. What if risking it all leads to something beautiful? It's never been about appeasing others. It's about sharing your truth. As they dived deeper into their conversation, ideas began to emerge: intimate gatherings, homemade decorations, personal vows that reflected their journey. Each moment of discovery sparked not just excitement but an increasing sense of liberation in both of them. Yet the weight of past expectations lingered in the back of Sarah's mind. How did they redefine beauty without losing sight of their roots? Were they really ready to carve out an entirely new path? An unmistakable tension grew as the evening wore on, underscoring Sarah's realization of how deeply entrenched societal pressures had been. Discovering her daughter's desire for a perfect wedding had unearthed her own urge to conform. This journey would not only reshape Lily's world but force Sarah to confront her limits and fears as well. As they worked through ideas, a looming question remained. What if Lily's vision diverged sharply from Sarah's newfound understanding? What if their exploration revealed a rift rather than a bond? The dim light of the setting sun cast long shadows in the room, echoing the growing uncertainties. Could they truly navigate these waters together? Or would the weight of fear and expectations resurface to fracture this moment of connection? As Sarah turned to Lily, the question loomed larger than ever. Was she prepared to confront her own fears, even if it meant risking everything for her daughter's happiness? The following morning, Sarah found herself sitting cross-legged on the floor of her bedroom, a notebook sprawled before her, filled with scattered ideas and sketches. The early sunlight crept in, illuminating the pages stained with coffee rings, remnants of intense brainstorming sessions with Lily. Yet a shroud of doubt loomed over Sarah. She picked up a pen, tapping it rhythmically against her palm, contemplating how to connect her values with the essence of Lily's true desires. The choices she had made in her own life often seemed bound by the ideals imposed by others, the overarching narrative that had dictated her existence. It was time to dismantle that narrative, not just for her daughter, but for herself as well. What do I really want? She whispered, the words echoing in the otherwise silent room. The question returned to her again and again, each iteration pulling her further into uncomfortable territory. Before Lily emerged as a whirlwind of energy, Sarah had spent decades fitting into boxes, adhering to expectations whether as a parent, a wife, or a societal figure. The very act of asking herself that question felt revolutionary, yet terrifying. Determined not to dwell in uncertainty, she initiated a new path by planning a day out with Lily. They would visit local markets to explore handmade decorations, discuss simple meals that could be shared, and dive deeper into creative expressions that showcased their bond. It was meant to be a celebration of authenticity, a risk worth taking. As they drove through the city, Sarah could feel a mix of excitement bubbling beneath her surface. Vibrant murals lined the streets, each more eclectic and telling than the last, urging her to embrace the nonconformity that had begun to show itself both in her plans and Lily's. There were moments when she envisioned the potential of stepping off the well-trodden path, not just for the wedding but for everything that followed. Yet, the lingering fear of judgment gnawed at her. What would family and friends think if they turned away from tradition? The tightness in her chest reflected the internal struggle, a tug-of-war between embracing the unknown and adhering to familiar melodies of expectation. As they arrived at the market, the sensory explosion of colors, scents, and laughter felt like a balm against her worries. Hand-woven baskets, intricate jewelry, and delicately crafted pottery surrounded them. Sarah's heart quickened as she caught glimpses of items that could each tell a part of Lily's story. "Look at this!" Lily exclaimed, pointing to a dazzling array of fabrics. Each piece seemed to radiate individuality, much like her daughter herself. The excitement bubbling in Lily's eyes felt infectious, and Sarah's resolve strengthened. It suddenly became clear to her the unveiling of a wedding was merely the beginning. It was an opportunity to lay the groundwork for a new family narrative grounded, not in tradition, but in authenticity. "Let us choose a fabric that resonates with both of us," Sarah said, taking a step toward the assortment, her heart swelling with intention. But just as they began to sift through the fabrics, a familiar figure emerged. A former friend of Sarah's, someone whose opinions had weighed heavy in her decisions long ago, materialized in the aisle, a look of disapproval etched across her face. "Trying to recreate a fairy tale, I see?" the woman chimed cynically, crossing her arms. In that moment, time froze. Sarah felt the instinctual urge to defend her choices, yet found herself confronted by the very voice she had sought to escape. Could she navigate this interaction without succumbing to the pressure she had fought so hard to evade? As the tension thickened in the air, Sarah's heart raced. She felt the eyes of not just her friend but all those who had ever judged her decisions bearing down on her. Would she stand firm in her commitment to authenticity, or would she let fear dictate the next chapter? What remained to be seen was if this confrontation would become a catalyst for Sarah to redefine her path alongside her daughter, or if it would become a paralyzing detour back into the shadows of expectations. The silence that followed her friend's comment felt almost deafening, reverberating with the weight of unspoken pasts and burdens. Sarah's mind raced, flitting between defensive retorts and a calmer acknowledgement of her desire to move forward on her own terms. "Fairy tale or not, I'd prefer to write my own story," Sarah countered, her voice steady, surprising herself with the resolve behind her words. The conviction coursing through her felt exhilarating, like the first surge of adrenaline before a leap of faith. Steeling herself against the scrutinizing gaze, she turned to Lily, who looked expectantly at her. "Let us look at these together," she said, redirecting her attention back to the vibrant fabrics that had, for a fleeting moment, seemed overshadowed by doubt. With each piece of cloth she touched, a story unfolded, one of choices, of creation, of journeys yet to be crafted. Her friend's voice faded into the background, blurring with the chaos of the marketplace, and she sought solace in the realization that her life, their life, didn't have to mimic anyone else's script. She took a deep breath, allowing the rich scents and lively colors to embolden her spirit. Lily joined her at the rack, hands brushing against the fabric, as if they were conducting an orchestra of creativity, awakening their shared tastes and aspirations. Sarah observed her daughter closely, marveling at the confident decision-making displayed in her modest selections of vibrant turquoise for joy, a soft lavender for serenity. "How about this, Mom?" Lily asked, holding up a floral pattern swatch. "Feels like us." "Exactly," Sarah replied, her heart skipping a beat at the authenticity radiating between them. This was the kind of collaboration she had dreamt of, a tapestry woven from the threads of their individual selves. Each choice made was a direct reflection of their values, their personalities. "Let us get that one, and we can find something else that speaks to our journey." As they continued to browse through stalls, Sarah felt a shift within her, a gradual unpacking of the heaviness, accumulated over years of unhappiness and compliance. She was awakening to her desires and needs, understanding that every choice she made for the wedding was a step towards redefining what it meant to be a family, to be themselves. However, with every positive thought, a shadow of doubt lingered. What would others say? This familiar battle pulsed within her chest, a tug of war between self-expression and inherited expectations. Yet the exhilaration of choosing authenticity drew her forward, allowing for the possibility of liberation over fears. Upon leaving the vibrant market with bags filled with colorful materials, a spring in her step evolved as Sarah mentally catalogued the newfound resolve bubbling beneath her exterior. They carpooled back, laughter mingling with plans, ideas blooming in their minds like the flowers on fabric. But she knew their journey was not yet complete. There remained a weighty conversation hovering on the horizon, the well-intentioned opinions of loved ones, family expectations yet to be addressed. The thought loomed over her, a bittersweet reminder that a true departure from tradition would require fortitude. As they entered their home, a sudden thought struck Sarah. What if they don't understand our vision? The intensity of the question tightened her chest once more, but alongside it flourished a contrasting surge of determination. She had begun to carve out her path, one that demanded respect, and she was prepared to defend it. They settled in with mugs of tea, and as she watched Lily excitedly recount each fabric's tale, a thought struck her as a realization. This was not merely about the wedding. It was about creating a legacy of courage and authenticity for her daughter. What would she show her invisible audience, the naysayers perpetually at the back of her mind? Sarah took a deep breath, holding on to the warmth of the moment with Lily, recognizing it as a pivotal opportunity. Yet with this new clarity came an unwelcome challenge: how to confront her family and friends, carrying her truth into their realm of expectations. With her heart pounding in anticipation, she wondered, when the time came to step into the discussion with her loved ones, would her resolve hold? Would she create a space for her truth, a space where she and Lily could flourish? As she contemplated the upcoming confrontation, Sarah recognized it as yet another chapter of fortitude to be penned. Could she embrace this moment of authenticity? Or would it slip through her fingers just as fear began to creep back in? The answer awaited her, looming ever closer on the horizon. The brewing storm inside Sarah stirred uneasily as she sipped her tea, the warm liquid grounding her momentarily. The chatter of Lily's excited voice painted a vivid picture of possibilities, each swatch a thread in the tapestry of their new narrative. But beneath the excitement lay a gnawing anxiety, a dread of the impending confrontation with her family. As she placed her mug down, Sarah's mind wandered back to the last family gathering, recalling the sideways glances and whispered judgments that had followed her decisions in the past. The very thought of facing her family with their expectations and old-fashioned fairy-tale ending seemed insurmountable. "Mom!" Lily's voice broke through her reverie. "What if we added some lace detailing? Like a modern twist on tradition?" The suggestion momentarily distracted Sarah from her spiral of fear. The idea reflected a blend of their styles, a fusion that felt right in that moment. Yet, it also reminded her of the very thing she wished to rebel against: the conventions that had always surrounded her, where lace symbolized adherence to antiquated norms. "That's interesting," Sarah answered, searching for balance. "But how about we focus on what feels genuine to us? Something that speaks to who we are, and what we want our family to represent." "Yes, we can take elements from both," Lily responded, her eyes lighting up with enthusiasm. A flicker of pride filled Sarah's heart, warming the cold doubt that had settled over her. This budding partnership with her daughter was pivotal. It became a sanctuary where they could share their fears, ideas, and aspirations. In the vibrant exchanges, Sarah glimpsed pieces of her future, her vision emerging amidst the chaos of expectation. That evening, as they bounced ideas back and forth, Sarah felt a profound sense of determination crystallizing within her. She wanted to shield Lily from the conforming pressures she had faced. This was not just about a wedding. It was about fostering a legacy of authenticity and empowerment. A flicker of courage ignited in her chest, beckoning her toward the confrontation she dreaded. The next day, while walking through the park, she rehearsed what she would say to her family. Each step solidified her resolve. She would calmly convey their vision, a mosaic of choices that honored both lineage and individuality. Sarah punctuated her thoughts with firm nods. She could face them with grace. Yet, just as quickly, doubt crept back in, whispering snide assessments of her ability to stand firm. What if they dismiss it as a phase? What if they paint her choices as immature? The weight of traditional expectations bore down heavily, each thought a reminder of years spent conforming. Gradually, she shrugged the fears off, propelling herself forward with each stride. The park was alive. Children laughed, couples strolled hand in hand, and each moment captured represented a slice of joy that felt tantalizingly just out of reach. Finally arriving home, Sarah sat quietly, eyes closed, envisioning the conversation that lay ahead. A mental rehearsal unfolded like a play. Her family seated on the couch, prepared, concerned eyes fixed upon her. She imagined laying out their plans, the vibrant swatches, the laughter shared between her and Lily. Then came the flicker of resistance, objections tinged with disbelief. But what if they didn't understand? Beads of perspiration beaded on her forehead as the unresolved tension mounted. No longer willing to shy away, Sarah resolved, "I won't let fear dictate my intentions. This is my family too." Though the decision felt precarious, a surge of empowerment surged through her. Stepping into her truth could summon a shift, not just for her, but for Lily and future generations. With a newfound clarity pushing her forward, she crafted a plan for the bold confrontation ahead, one that was authentic and unwavering. As she took a deep breath, Sarah held onto the exhilarating notion, blossoming within a revelation not just about fabrics, but the very fabric of their lives. The next steps carried an implicit promise. The bridge between expectation and reality would soon bend to her will. But as she closed her eyes, preparing to delve into the conversation, the question lingered. Would their family accept this vision, or would it unravel at their disapproval? The moment for truth approached, heavy with uncertainty yet vibrant with possibility. The day of Sarah's confrontation arrived, each tick of the clock amplifying the tension that resonated in her chest. She dressed meticulously, choosing an ensemble that subtly fused her identity with the expectations she yearned to transcend. A simple yet elegant dress, she thought, echoing the hope for balance in her family discussions as she descended the stairs. The presence of her family loomed in her mind, each face a chapter of her past, a montage of love, pride, judgment, and silent disappointment. The living room exuded familiarity, yet today the air felt different, charged with unspoken anxieties and unanticipated possibilities. Lily, ever the beacon of enthusiasm, breezed through the doorway, clutching sketches and swatches, proof of their collaboration. "Mom, I can't wait for them to see this." Her exuberance painted a smile on Sarah's face, but beneath it stirred a tempest of trepidation. "Let's just make sure to convey our vision clearly," Sarah encouraged. The words felt hollow, though she wished for confidence to radiate from her. "It won't be easy," she reminded herself. Gathered in the living room, her parents and brother looked up expectantly as they settled into the evening's routine. Stillness hung thick until the first words broke the barrier of tension. "Curious, what's going on?" her father asked, cocking an eyebrow with every eye focused on her. Sarah steadied her breath and commenced her well-rehearsed speech. Here was the pivotal moment, the instigator of change she envisioned. "We need to talk about Lily's wedding," she began, anchoring her nerves with resolve. She felt the weight of their scrutiny and held on to the belief that she was advocating for them all. The spark of enthusiasm from Lily punctuated Sarah's speech, as she gestured towards the sketches. "We're blending modern and traditional. Look at these ideas." But their enthusiasm was met with silence, and then the first ripple of skepticism rolled in from her mother. "Lace? I thought that was a classic touch, not modern," came the bemused reply. The familiar blade of disapproval cut through the moment, unveiling the resistance Sarah had anticipated. Sarah's stomach twisted in response. She had stood here prepared for pushback, yet facing her family's expectations still felt akin to unflinching bravery. Digging deep, she chose to lean into authenticity, rather than retreat to the safety of silence. "Tradition, yes, but we are carving a new path," she insisted, vocalizing a truth that resonated deeper than the superficial perceptions surrounding them. "But what if, in trying to be different, you're missing the essence of the day?" her father interjected with genuine concern, eyes narrowing ever so slightly. Those words struck hard, rattling her confidence and summoning the worst of her self-doubt. She felt the walls of tradition closing in, squeezing out the vibrant air that had filled her earlier. Yet, there was also the faint echo of Lily's dreams interwoven with her own, energizing her tether to determination. "I senti it more about love and authenticity than rigid adherence to the past," Sarah responded, her voice carrying more conviction than she anticipated. The question hung before her family, a reflection of her own fight, a challenge to reevaluate. The air shimmered with uncertainty, but amidst the mounting tension, something unexpected stirred within her family. Their expression shifted, a flicker of realization danced across her mother's face, while her brother leaned forward slightly. Maybe, just maybe, they were beginning to see the vision she and Lily had carved out, a reflection of freedom and the celebration of individuality. However, as the initial tension gave way to cautious curiosity, Sarah sensed the underlying currents of resistance still flowing strongest. The questions held weight, for if they embraced a revised vision, what would it entail? How far would her family be willing to bend and adapt? And would that acceptance fracture their previous notions completely? A new worry began to form. What if the essence of their legacy was lost in the evolution? As she watched her family's expressions, Sarah felt a surge of energy shifting within her. The dialogue would soon unveil truths that would either unite or divide them further. What lay next, she wondered, a breakthrough or a classic family standoff? With the eyes of judgment still fixed upon her, she steeled herself for what came next. Are we ready to embrace change? To blur the lines of tradition The question punctuated the air, leaving a pregnant pause thick with uncertainty, as Sarah braced for the responses that could redefine their family narrative forever. The silence hung like a dense fog, thick with the unspoken fears and doubts that clung to the walls of the living room. Sarah could feel the weight of her father's gaze, piercing and assessing, as if he was piecing together the potential consequences of her question. Only moments ago, she had felt a flicker of hope and courage, but now those flames tempered under the weight of scrutiny. "Change isn't easy for any of us," her mother said softly, breaking the stillness that enveloped them. Her tone surprised Sarah. It wasn't the sharp rebuttal she expected, but rather a cautious willingness to engage. "Especially when we've always had our traditions." Sarah took a breath, sensing the shifting dynamic. Instead of succumbing to her old habit of retreating, she pressed forward. "That's exactly why we need to talk about this now. The wedding is an opportunity to create our own story, something that reflects who we are today, not just who we've been." Her brother shifted in his seat, visibly wrestling with internal conflict. "But what does that mean for, Grandma? Or the aunts?" There it was, the crux of their hesitation and unspoken fear that stepping away from tradition might sever ties with their collective history. "What if," Sarah proposed, her voice steadying, "we included elements that honored our past, but also allowed us to express who we've become? We can pay tribute to those traditions while embracing new ones." A flicker of interest sparked in her father's eyes, but doubt still clouded the air. "Have you considered how much this could upset the family? What about everyone's expectations?" "It's about more than expectations. It's about celebrating Lily's love in a way that feels genuine to her. And to all of us," Sarah replied, voice laden with urgency. "If we don't start to adapt, what stories will we tell? What legacy will we leave behind?" As they sat in deliberation, each family member processing her words, Sarah felt a transformation brewing within her. It was more than just the desire for a different wedding. It was about redefining what it meant to be a family. The thought sparked a fierce determination, igniting her belief that they could be more than just a collection of roles defined by antiquated ideals. In her desire for progress, she sensed a hidden truth, that her own journey was entwined with Lily's dreams. Sarah yearned not only to advocate for her daughter, but also to carve out her own sense of identity separate from familial expectations. "Let us think about it this way," she continued, her mind racing through potential compromises. "A modern ceremony doesn't erase the past. It revitalizes it, breathes new life into it. This could be a joyful merging of what we've cherished and what we hope to nurture." This notion resonated somewhere deep within the family, and slowly, they began to lean toward her proposition. The arched brows softened, the clenched fists relaxed. Sarah could feel the ground shifting beneath them, and for the first time, fear was giving way to possibility. "Okay," her mother finally said. "Let us open this conversation. What does your vision look like?" Unleashing an exuberance she hadn't known she possessed, Sarah began sketching out more ideas, outfits that blended familial styles with contemporary flair, vows that recognized their heritage while bravely charting new territories. Each suggestion was met with cautious intrigue, and Sarah's resolve grew stronger, intertwining their voices into a shared narrative. But as discussions picked up momentum, a chilling thought struck. What if, in this endeavor to find a balance, they discovered unresolved tensions buried beneath smiles and polite acceptance? What would happen if facing their past proved more challenging than she anticipated? Sarah looked at her family, buoyed by their inklings of agreement, but aware of the potential landmines hidden beneath their path. Their shared story could flourish, or it could unravel everything they understood about each other. Who knows, she thought, meeting their gazes with steely determination. Maybe the real challenge is just beginning. And with that, uncertainty lingered in the air like smoke, hinting at continued conflict, unresolved issues that might finally explode or bond them closer than ever. What remained unspoken loomed large, and Sarah steeled herself for the truth that could either unite them or drive them apart. As the conversations evolved, Sarah navigated the emotional terrain with a blend of confidence and vulnerability. Each discussion breathed life into her vision, a celebration of Lily's love that would honor their family's legacy while embracing authenticity. The dialogues around lace and modern twists transformed into brainstorming sessions marked by enthusiasm. Ideas flowed, each suggestion building a bridge between the past and the present. Lily's excitement radiated, and with every ounce of participation from her family, she felt the chains of traditional expectations slowly loosening. "What if we incorporated elements from both of our families?" she suggested, eyes lit with the thrill of possibility. "A cultural fusion celebration. It doesn't have to be an all-or-nothing situation." Sarah felt a wave of pride swell within her. No longer was she standing alone in defiance of tradition. Instead, she was intertwined in a monumental collaborative effort, one that melded their desires into a harmonious tapestry. It was a testament not only to Lily's journey, but to Sarah's transformation into a proactive advocate for their shared narrative. Gradually, the apprehensions that initially clouded her family's reactions began to dissipate. Each supportive nod from her parents reaffirmed that building this new vision was becoming a collective endeavor, rather than an act of rebellion. The more they engaged, the clearer it became that they were giving themselves permission to see beyond polished expectations, reaching a deeper understanding of the significance behind the wedding. With each family meeting, concrete milestones emerged. They brainstormed unique ideas for the ceremony, an intimate gathering in their backyard, adorned with handcrafted decorations sourced from local artisans. They envisioned floral arrangements that echoed her father's legacy, but with a contemporary flair, no longer a burden but a celebration of familial love. "Yes, let us weave in the wildflowers from the garden, just like Grandpa," Lily exclaimed, her excitement igniting a spark in the family. Sarah felt the warmth of recognition enveloping her, the realization that they were no longer constrained by their past but rather were constructing a vibrant present. Days turned into weeks, and amidst the fabric swatches entwined with laughter and heartwarming conversations, the wedding transformed into an expression of genuine connection. Sarah began to relish each moment spent planning with her daughter and family. The weight of expectations lifted the air rich with possibilities. The climactic day arrived, unveiling a celebration that radiated authenticity. Guests marveled at the blend of traditions, and as the ceremony unfolded under a canopy of twinkling lights, Sarah felt an immense sense of pride. It was not merely a blending of cultures but a testament to their evolution as a family. As Lily and her partner exchanged heartfelt vows, Sarah's heart swelled further. Each word articulated encapsulated the journey they had undertaken together, reflecting love's essence beyond its monetary measures. Gone was the anxiety that once clouded her. In its place stood an overwhelming sense of fulfillment and purpose. Throughout the gathering, whispers of admiration rotated in the air. Guests praised the couple's originality, the way the wedding embraced both family stories and personal journeys. Sarah reveled in the scene, the laughter, shared memories, and joy emanating from genuine connections woven through every aspect of the day. Suddenly, her parents approached her, expressions bright with newfound clarity. "We see it now," her father said, voice thick with emotion. "This is what weddings are supposed to be about: love, stories, and family." Sarah's heart fluttered with joy. This recognition was significant, not just for the wedding but as a profound acknowledgement of her growth. She had successfully navigated the waters of traditional expectations and emerged with a powerful narrative of her own. It was a moment of closure, not just to an event, but to the old confines that had previously defined her existence. Sarah had conquered her fears. She had spoken her truth and crafted a space where love flourished unabashedly. As the night shimmered with laughter, warm embraces, and heartfelt conversations, Sarah stood proud, a recognition of her place as an empowered woman and mother. This wedding was an emblem of their journey, a leap into authenticity that would guide them long into the future. In that grand tapestry woven with love, Sarah Matthews had transformed, demonstrating that true fulfillment lies in embracing one's values and nurturing connections that matter most. Now, if you resonated with this profound journey, you need to subscribe now to the channel. This is the moment to show your support for more exclusive emotional stories that inspire personal growth. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and ensure these stories reach more hearts. Comment below with your reactions and theories about Sarah's transformation. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this stunning conclusion. Don't wait even one more second to spread the inspiration.